We are not interning Arab Americans as we did in World War II, interning Japanese Americans. But that was so dreadfully wrong. And we should have moved on from that. It's like saying African Americans should be so happy today with their freedoms because we're not lynching them anymore. You know, that's just preposterous.
I don't think, Bob, anyone was suggesting that we should be happy by looking at historical context. We wanted to look at historical context simply to point out that during times of war and conflict, there are always threats to civil liberties, and that that continues today, not to explain it away. So I think that it's important to know that in previous conflicts, these kinds of threats did exist. They exist today. Second, the fact that we undertook this study and did so in such depth was a reflection of the fact that we thought there had not been sufficient attention to the dimensions of threats to freedom from 9/11, but more broadly, that having done so, we didn't want the entire focus to be on that. We wanted, and it's interesting that in the debate we've just had, we've gone back entirely to the post-9/11 war on terrorism, because that obviously is a significant factor, and we in no way diminish it. Indeed, we focus on it. But we want to also focus attention on these broader, more systemic threats to freedom in the election system and the criminal justice system, which are harder to make headlines out of and which the press has frankly spent even less time looking at. And that these affect a much broader swath of Americans than do the very real threats to civil liberties from warrantless searches and the other matters that we've focused on, which do affect civil liberties, but a far fewer number of people than are affected by these more systemic issues. And we hope that in the debate on this book, we won't spend all the time looking at the 9/11 issues, as important and critical as they are, and that's why we undertook the study to begin with, but rather at the broader issues which we uncovered. And I think that's the real genius, if I may, of this book, which I think Arch and Tom deserve an enormous amount of credit for launching.